This video is sponsored by Virtue Poker, which is your all-in-one destination for creating poker games, organizing tournaments, and connecting with friends. There's customizable features and the ability to form your own poker club. So it's the ultimate platform for enhancing your skills and playing with your community or outside it. Visit virtue.poker to get started instantly.
All right, so we got the 69K all-time high. Shamsi, what did you think about this reaction to price here?
I feel like the Bears need to chill out. Like, let us have our moment. We literally went, I think, less than $100 above all-time high, and we are 10% down. So, yeah, man, it's brutal, but I'm comfortable in spot. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, coin price is definitely lower today. And my memes are definitely lower today. So, you got to take the ups with the downs on those swings. But overall, I think we're still looking good. I think the ultimate crazy buy zone on a pullback is going to be like 55K if it comes, 57, 55. But, right now we just kind of wicked down to 59K. So we'll see. I don't know. We're bouncing around. The volatility is going to get crazy up here at the top, right? People are trying to wash out that leverage.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. If you're not experienced and you're playing around with leverage, even if it's low leverage positions, if you're thinking that you can long some altcoin on 2x leverage and it's never going to drop 50%, trust me, it's days like this where it does actually drop 50% and you get liquidated or you get wiped out. So play the safe game if you're not experienced, if you don't have an edge, and just hold spot. It's less stressful also. If I were trying to trade this right now, which I'm not, I didn't trade today at all, I would be pulling my hair out. In fact, I got a haircut. I'm trying to look like Elliot, growing a mullet. What do you think?
Okay. You got the little fade, little zero on the bottom. We see you, boy.
Yeah.
All right, so what about, we got any Turbo 2A? Anything we might be able to expect in the upcoming weeks? Should we be looking for new highs to continue? Should we be looking for a pullback? Are we in that I don't know? Who freaking knows zone? What you got?
I'll be honest, man. I'm in the I don't know, but what I do know is that, let me just clear this previous trades. What I do know is that historically we know that pullbacks in bull markets are healthy. So you and I, we're not necessarily losing our shit about this. I think the problem arises if this thing keeps on dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping. My ultimate point of failure is $44,500. And I know that's very low for a lot of people. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just feel like this point right here, this cluster here, is the make or break for this bull market. Do we get down there? I actually have no idea. Obviously, if I knew, then I wouldn't be here. But the 52K area, I feel like this, to me, was an untested area, an untested cluster. It also has an untested order block here with a pretty sizable wick. This is the order block that sent us up above 50K, and we didn't see any pullbacks until now. So if this keeps carrying on, if we see another lower high, then we come down, swoop here. Hope you guys can see my screen, and then make another higher highs, and then we go up from there. Something like that is very likely. Being a little bit more conservative, where would I look to actually add to my spot bags? Because this is where a lot of decision making is going to happen. If you've been taking profits, if you've been, making a plan on a lot of your positions, then I feel like, but we just said 55K, I'm probably going to start adding right under 57.5. So once we breach this high of the wick here, this little order block on the 4-hourly, you can go into it on the 15 or the hourly. I would probably look for a sweep here and then try long on spot into my altcoins or my meme coins, which we're going to discuss at a later stage. But yeah, I'll be honest, that's all I'm looking for in Bitcoin. Even something like Solana, it's down quite a lot. It's hurting deeply, but it's just level to level at the end of the day. Daily order block right here. If we can hold above 115, create some sort of a bullish market structure above 115 along these lines, maybe even go above 130. This right here would give me a lot more confidence to then trade another breakout play to, the 200 Solana, and then Solana breaking all-time highs. So, yeah, man, that's really what I'm looking at. We could get into meme coins. I could show you Myro. It's, we called it right here. It pumped up. How much was it? It's about 500%. It's down about 30%. So, I mean, we can talk about that, but these for us, at least for me, are long-term plays. So, making a 6-day or a 6-week judgment on a 6-month long investment isn't really, doing justice to your thesis. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the ETF narrative to play on Ethereum. I'm waiting for the pullbacks to finish on Bitcoin, and then onload into things like AVAX, onload into things like Beam. Beam just hit an all-time high. Nobody really gave a shit about that. So you got to keep an eye on these things. Keep an eye on what's actually been performing and holding strong. And then once pullbacks like this come, this is where I'm comfortable dollar cost averaging. Like if Beam goes down to 0.235, which I doubt it's gonna, if it goes down another 30%, which is very possible, I'm adding here. I'm adding on this SR flip, aiming for, another higher high, because this can very much happen. And this can take us down to, end of March, April, whatever way it happens. So that's what I'm looking at. And yeah, what do you think?
Whew, those are some fire bars right there. Well, I did see some of your areas were actually tapped. So, if you had some orders sitting in those green boxes you had set up, some of those looks like they might have filled. So that would have been nice. Nice little fill, especially since we got a quick wick down and a bounce up.
I was waiting for a sweep of this, but I canceled it because I was scared.
I definitely understand that. No, I mean, like I'm in the same ballpark. I mean, I'm still pretty bullish, so we'll see. I think 45K does make sense, but also at the same time, I think that's where everyone wants to buy, right? Everyone is waiting for the pullback. Everyone wants to buy. If we still think that overall we're going to be bullish heading into the end of the year, then I think something closer to like 55K, 60K, which is like, wick down to 60K. Maybe that was like the little first scare test, see how people reacted. Maybe price dribbles down into that area for a few more weeks, days, I don't know. And then, people start getting you start really seeing the fear and greed index comes down from that big print of 90 down to maybe, I don't know, who knows what it'll hit, 50, 40, something like that. And then you actually see market participants being like, wait, like the number's still going up. NVIDIA earnings are still crushing. That's like been the Super Bowl, right? NVIDIA earnings. So I don't know. Those are the ones I'm watching. It's crazy to see some of the specific stocks that have been hanging on, kind of moving right in step with Bitcoin. Like, I hold a lot of Coinbase, and it's pretty much trading right along with Bitcoin. So it's pretty good Bitcoin beta right now. So hopefully, we'll see that turnaround. 55K is like where I think you might get front run on the waiting for the move for 45K. So we'll have to see. And I know some of the other sectors, like kind of like what you were talking about, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities in some of those other sectors, right? Like if 55K does hold, it kind of hangs out there for a minute, I think it gives some altcoins like a real chance to maybe do something, especially when it comes to the narrative plays. So, we spoke about Degen recently, big narrative. We spoke about meme coins, obviously big narrative. And one that we haven't talked about too much is AI. So I don't know, like, is that something you think might be going down?
I'll be honest, I don't know if AI is going to be going down, but I definitely feel like if Bitcoin goes down, AI as an industry in crypto, I don't think I still think it's in its infancy. You have PAL, you have OXO, you have a couple of heavy hitters, but you don't have that Solana type ecosystem. You're going to see that developing. You're going to see those tokens coming along slowly. So if Bitcoin drops and it lags, and our pump to 80K or 100K is delayed by, let's say, a month or 3 weeks, I feel like that gives us more time to watch the AI space, unfold, watch things release, and just rotate money better into the ecosystem. Because ultimately, if NVIDIA is any sort of a metric of what AI and the demand for AI can do, you mix some blockchain, some crypto tech buzzwords in there. You don't even have to have tech. You can just mix the fucking buzzwords in there, and you have a recipe to $1 billion to $10 to $20 billion market cap. So I think my next rotation after meme coins, because meme coins is a risky play, I'm going to be taking a lot of profits. I have been taking small profits, but nearly not as many. But the next time we pump up, I'm going to be taking those profits and rotating them into microcaps and AI. And we can chat about that at a later stage, because Becker's doing something similar. And yeah, I think ultimately that's the play.
Oh, what's Becky got going on?
All right, let me show you. He had a tweet about so he's got a video dropping, and people probably watching this, the video's probably come out already. But he said, got a thick video on AI dropping tomorrow, and he's saying that the sector is going to print, which I mean we've seen already with PAL. There's people that called PAL, before it did a 50-60x. So that's insane numbers. And to think that retail, although we are retail, that normies aren't really here to pump shit up parabolically. It's just insane to see what's about to come forward. Also, one more thing. You mentioned that people waiting for 45K, everybody's waiting for that dip. One thing people need to understand, BlackRock is buying. I don't think they're going to want this investment to go back down to $12,000. I just don't think that's going to be their strategy. They can hold entire economies up with their cash flow. I'm sure they can do that with a tiny little thing like Bitcoin. So just putting that out there. But so Becker basically says that he's rounded off a lot of seed portfolio. He's basically taken, I'm assuming, seed investments and advisory roles, and a lot of projects like PAL, OXO, OPSEC, and GPU's been doing quite well. Shout out to the crypt. I've been seeing a lot of people calling out GPU early in the crypt also. And then he says that he thinks the microcaps will go nuts. So I kind of agree. The gaming cycle, when it initially happened, the microcaps and gaming did the same thing. NFT microcap projects did the same thing, and I think AI is probably going to be the same. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. So that's my take on it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely I need to get a little bit more educated on the AI space. To be honest, I need to hit up Morningstar. Morningstar was the one that had the great call with the GPU. So shout out to Morningstar and the Crypt, everyone that's participating in there. But yeah, so let me share. Let's look at when we're looking at. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah. Real quick, just out of curiosity, since you mentioned the Crypt, so let's say hypothetically, this isn't real. Hypothetically, somebody were to come up to you and say, "Hey man, I'm gonna give you A+ calls. Would you be open to giving me a finder's fee?" What would you say to that? Potential 5-10x's.
I mean, fees are a hot topic right now in the crib, so I'll leave it at that. But look, when we're looking at some of these AI different plays, right? So obviously the AI sector on CoinGecko, Tau is absolutely crushing it, leading at 4 billion, Render 2.4 billion, FET 1.7 billion. So these are the big ones everyone talks about. I know Akash, the OG Ocean Protocol from back in the day. Nosana was a really good one for me early. Probably sold that a little too early. But if we sort by market cap and we kind of bring it down just to see, all right, what's the low hanging fruit, right? Like what can we really make the most on and see the most upside? Basically, this is what I would be doing if I were you guys and you're trying to figure this out. Jump on here and then do your due diligence, make your list of all these different protocols. Look at the ones that are the market cap is close to the fully diluted value, right? So you can see here with Jim, the market cap still has some supply to come onto the market compared to Eve AI, where they have their market cap is already fully out. So their fully diluted value is the same as their market cap. So that means all the tokens are already out in supply. So that's what I would definitely be looking for there. Also find out, look at the charts, pull up the charts, let them, see what you see with them, right? So like Eve AI, if you look at it over the past 3 months, we had the huge run up that started February 14th. Like that obviously would have been the best entry, right around 1 cent. It ran up to 5 cents. Look to be trying to accumulate some of these good ones. Go find out what they're doing. I mean, a lot of them are probably going to be on Ethereum blockchain, so watch out for those fees as you get into it. Make sure you're taking that into consideration. But click on the markets tab. You can see the different markets it's trading. If it is on a centralized exchange, a lot of these, because the market cap will be so small, they won't actually be listed yet. But that's how you get early, right? You got to pay those fees to be early. So something like Eve AI is definitely something that I would be looking into. I actually don't hold any of these bags, so not truly shilling.
I'm back.
Just stuff that I would be paying attention to. Shamsi, my guy, you missed it. So we were talking about Eve AI. We were talking about this Gymbot, another one. This Bridge Oracle, most of the supply looks like it's out. Chart looks pretty good over the past 7 days. I would go to the 3-month chart to see what type of uptrend it's in, and if it's in a nice little uptrend, try to find one that's looking like it's going to pull back. So any of these, that are still hanging around between that 7, looks like some of the lowest ones are around 5 million, right? So between 5 million and 20 million, see if you can catch any of those, and you might still have some massive upside. So there's a pretty solid list here between 5 and 20, and yeah, I'll go through them. Shamsi, so did you miss my phenomenal AI breakdown where I dropped all the alpha on tokens I've never seen before?
I did, man. I feel FOMO. My Wi-Fi cut out. I tried connecting with my antennas to see if I have signals, but I just couldn't. So here I am. I think I'm gonna have to rewatch the recording like all the normies and get secondhand alpha when the show drops.
Well, yeah, it's a simple playbook. It's a simple playbook, and it follows a tweet that you were talking about earlier with Becker, right? Becker was just saying, hey, the microcaps in the sector are going to print. Go do your research. Go pull them up. This is how you do it, right? So make sure you guys get in the trenches, get your hands dirty, jump into the crypt, bring up the projects, jump into, I think it's called the Blue Horseshoe, jump into some of these different threads and bring this up. Get Neo Tokyo talking.
Hell yeah.
Anything else you wanted to cover specifically, my brother? Or did you have any anything you wanted to say on these topics?
Yeah, man. I just want to ask you about Degen. I know it's a little away from AI, but it's going to tie in nicely. There's a lot of tokens in the Degen narrative, like Filecoin or I forgot the rest. By the way, is Render AI now, or is it Degen? Do you know?
Oh, it's both, dude. It's doing it all.
Oh,
GPU compute using AI dynamics with crazy mechanics.
Upside down.
whatever makes the cat go up. I mean, I'm sorry, whatever makes the coin go up.
Yeah. So I want to know, would you, not obviously not financial advice, but would you recommend people invest in tokens that have some history or tokens that are fresh and new and are just fresh narratives, or do you think there's still some plays that can be made with tokens that have been around for a while?
No, I mean, I definitely think that you'll have like price appreciation with tokens that have been around for a while, like something like Chainlink or like some of these bigger, safer ones. But I think if you're trying to get the most upside, like, yeah, I think shiny and new is probably the way to go, right? Like you see a token come out, it may pump a little bit, it retraces, and then you're like, oh man, well, it hit this once, already all-time high. Like, can you imagine what it's going to do next? Also, when you have some of the older tokens, like you really want to check like their circulating supply and see how much supply came onto the market over the course of the 2 years while we've been in the bear market, right? Like if something has doubled their supply, it's going to be a little bit harder to hit that that market cap or that all-time high price. So I think that is probably one of the bigger reasons why looking into something new will give you a slight edge. Now, if it's new and it just instantly launches to $1 billion, it's kind of like, all right, well, that's the crazy game you're playing. But yeah, that's why, like I told you about, we were talking about whales markets, and I was like, oh yeah, like this kind of predictive points meta, being able to trade your points and like do that in a way that's safe and easy with a good UI for people to use. Like that's why I was like bullish on that platform. Now, unfortunately, they still have a lot of supply that needs to come out, but we know during bull markets, fully diluted values can become a meme, right? Like Axie Infinity had a $50 billion fully diluted market cap, and several others with the crazy fully diluted market cap. So we know things can get silly, and good products with a good user experience, I think, makes it a lot easier to bet on. Specifically, though, for Degen, I think people are just kind of not paying attention. Like, there was a project called Demu. I think it's DIMU. So you can check out Demu. And I was at ETH Denver recently. I was with my guy Winston. Shout out to Winston from Get Metarized. And is it Demo? Demo. I'm sorry. DIMO. Demo. And so right now it's sitting at a. Share this here.
I love how chilled out
and so
the show is compared to our usual overly dopamine-inducing, hey guys, all-time high.
We're sitting back. We're showing some projects, right? Z-High, unfortunately, had some IRL business he had to take care of, so he left it to the Degens. We promised we wouldn't do anything too crazy, but we're like, hey, let's try to give some actionable alpha, right? So, Shamsi held it down with the Turbo TA. We got Becker telling us to check into these micro AI plays. And now we're touching on Degen here. And when you look at over 3 months, this demo is pretty solid. Market cap, though, fully diluted market cap is like 460 million, while the actual market cap is only 100 million. So definitely want to be aware of token unlocks and things like that. But these are the type of projects you need to be checking into. So that might be one to add to your list, my guy.
Yeah, man, I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna go do some more research because I really want to rotate a lot of my profits into the AI space because I feel like I just want to think like a normie. ChatGPT, AI, Nvidia, the whole narrative is gonna be so loud, and you mix that crypto when they come in. They're gonna look at the shiny things, which is, I mean, the shiny thing is not gonna be Ethereum. I feel like the shiny thing is gonna be funny memes that are cheap to get into, like memes on Solana, memes on base chain, which we're gonna get into in a second, and then your plays that they're gonna think are gonna be the next Nvidia. This coin, this AI token in crypto is gonna make me $78 million. That I think is going to be the thinking that we need to capitalize on, as stupid as that sounds right now. But I do want to touch on base chain. I don't know about base chain itself quite a lot, but Coinbase is up to something, and it's just interesting to me the way Brett on base chain has come out. So let me share Brett with you guys. This might be me trying to shill my bag, so just bear in mind, full disclosure. So Brett, as you know, is I think related to Pepe or something. Yeah, it's one of the 4 characters, and Brett is the #1 meme on base chain. Now, base chain is probably going to be one of the easiest chains to access when it comes to on-chain activity to people or normies onboarding themselves onto Coinbase, because you go onto Coinbase and Coinbase really controls what you look at, what pops up first. If Coinbase, if Base Chain has their own meme coins, why would they want to showcase Dogecoin to you? Why would they want to showcase WIF to you if they want to, tell the world, okay, we have these many holders, we have these many users of tokens and our infrastructure. So for that reason, they're going to put their own players up first. So for that reason, just again thinking like a normie, what people are going to look at first, they're going to look at something like Brett up first, and to me it's kind of like a funny little thing. So this to me is a pretty decent play, but people are talking a lot about airdrops on base chain. Crash's Clay, I don't know if you guys know Crash. He's a citizen, he's a pretty decent trader, and he makes some crazy calls. According to him, Brett and Toshi are going to be multi-billion-dollar market cap. He recently put in $15,000 into Brett and turned that into $1 million, I think, in 3 days. And he's still holding. He hasn't sold anything. He's got his transaction public. He's got his wallet public. You can look at it. He says that he's only going to sell it past multiple billions. So his conviction is pretty strong. Personally, a guy like me, I would have sold at $1 million, but that's just me. But yeah, he spoke a lot about why Brett is good. This thread is pretty nice. You guys can look at it. But the main thing here is that things can get a lot sillier than a lot of people expect. And yeah, we're looking at about $118 million market cap. Let me just check where Brett is at right now as we speak. It's about 120, so that's about right. So yeah, I feel like base chain is something that a lot of people have kept unexplored. Gas fees on base chain is fairly low. You can use something like Kyber swap to swap your Ethereum into base, and you do pay gas on the ETH side, but once you're into base, you're looking at about $1.5, $2, depending on the size of your transaction, which isn't really a lot. So I think base chain is something that people are ignoring. I'm seeing a lot of positive talk about a potential airdrop coming on the base chain for interacting with the chain. Although Coinbase hasn't really confirmed anything, but a lot of people feel like they're just capping, because airdrops right now are the best way to get marketing and also get loyal customer support. So yeah, I feel like Brett is probably going to be the best normie, easy to access play outside of Doge, outside of WIF, because I feel like WIF is the Doge of this cycle. So yeah, man, I'm just excited to explore base chain and put through some cash into Brett, and it's down about 20%. So that's that.
Yeah, not too bad, honestly. When you think about some of these memes, like I know they run up and they hit these crazy valuations so quickly, and they do pull back 50%. But then when you look at the chart, like the 50% pullback is like, okay, well, this isn't like as damaging as I thought, right? Like I bought this at, $4 million and it ran up to $40 million and like, oh, now it's pulled back and it's at 20 million. Like, okay, like sitting on some pretty good gains there. So I definitely am in agreement there. I think most of my Solana plays are kind of set in stone. I'm going to be holding on to those from where they're at now. So I've been looking into new chains and different things that people are kind of hating on. Like, obviously the hated rallies are perfect counter trade, things that people don't really like, or they just think, are not doing well. So I starting to look into a little bit Blast stuff. Now that the hype cooled down around it, I think Base is good to be looking into. Phantom, like, I don't know if you remember, but in 2021, like Andre Cronje was like a king, you know what I mean? So I think there might be some things going down on Phantom. So, and I always like using Spooky Swap and like some of those things. So I'm kind of excited to brush off the dust that I have over there in that Phantom wallet, see what's going on. But yeah, I always think those new chains are where it's at. Doesn't need a new chain, but the ones that are kind of gone, forgotten, are being hated on. I guess that kind of speaks to, like you were saying, do people want the old thing or the new shiny thing? And we'll see as time will tell where the attention spans to. I will say what you can do is to try to get ahead of that is, like I've mentioned it before, but wormhole scan. So, go on to wormhole here. Let me share my screen again. So you can just go on to wormhole, go to wormhole scan and just see where some of the money is flowing from, right? And so right now, Ethereum, the money flowing out of Ethereum, 42% of that going to Sui, 27% going to Solana, 17% going to Arbitrum. That's just over the last 7 days. So maybe if you look over let's do the last 30 days, right? Throughout the month of February. And now, you can kind of get an idea, okay, like how much money was flowing, from which chains and where was it going, right? Ethereum obviously is always going to be the big winner when when it's not coming out of Ethereum. That's where the big money flow is, right? That's where the most volatility is. Oh, but you can actually see, this is kind of surprising. When you look at the money flow coming out of Arbitrum, 40% is actually going into Solana. And so that's a little bit interesting because that's basically saying the people that don't want to be paying the gas fees on Ethereum, right? They're going from L2s over to Solana instead of from that L2 back into Ethereum mainnet over the past 30 days anyway. So, little interesting insight there that I hadn't seen until right this second. So, yeah, I know, maybe just do your little diligence. See, it looks like from Avalanche, right? The money flowing out of Avalanche is heading into Arbitrum and Solana, much more so than Ethereum with only 4%.
So from Avalanche, people are also...
Sorry?
So from Avalanche, money's also heading into Arbitrum, and 40% of that is probably going into Solana. So...
I think you cut out, so I didn't hear your question.
Oh, I said, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, so money from Avalanche is also flowing into Arbitrum, and we saw that 40% of what's flowing into Arbitrum is going into Solana. So shit's just all looping back into Solana. I just feel like the whole point of using L2s is to make Ethereum a lot more usable, but people are not trying to use Ethereum. Or maybe I've just really switched biased, I don't know, but I just don't think it's that shiny new thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We catch hate every time, and it's only me and you on here right now who aren't super hype on. Like, I still like ETH. I think ETH will still do well. So please, ETH Maxis, chill. Like, it's all good. Like, I want us all to make money. It's not that deep. I just don't have as much money as you, so I don't want to pay those fees. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. But anyway, so it's like, yeah, I don't want to go. I had Ryan. Shout out to VPP Virtue Poker, your premier place to play poker with your partying Degen friends. Kind of give me the old sit down, small guy. Talk on Market Mondays yesterday. So don't want our sponsors to come at me too hard. But I'm just saying we're looking at where the money flows are coming and going, and Solana is definitely one of those places. So.
Yeah, man, and if our sponsors feel like we're the little guys, throw us some Ethereum, why don't you? We can cover the gas fees, the rest, you can handle the rest. But yeah, man, some pretty cool topics that we've discussed so far. I think also one thing about Blast, I'm hearing a lot of backing by Binance, and it's giving me the same vibes as PancakeSwap, that little underground niche something brewing in the shadows. Binance is up to something. Same vibe around here. So I don't know if you've heard of District 1. They've got an airdrop. I believe in May. I think on the 12th of May or something, you can claim their airdrop, and it's backed by Binance. So a lot going on Blast, a lot going on Base. I think the chains have a long way to go, but it's definitely the new shiny thing that it doesn't hurt for you to throw something in there. So yeah, man, have you got anything else for today, or is this it for Degen Digest?
You know,